Good afternoon. Welcome to Icebreaker College Virtual Forum on Distance Learning Students' Voice Edition. I am Rose Dacumos, your host for today. Once again, a pleasant afternoon to all our viewers, especially to our CKC students, parents, guardians, and personnel. Today is another special day. If you could remember, last Saturday, April 24, we held the first virtual panel discussion with some of our parents as panelists. From that sharing, we were able to pick out some insights on how parents should supervise and monitor their children at home in their education in the new normal. This time, in this subsequent event, we shall be hearing the voices of our dear students on their perceptions or insights as to how they have managed to successfully face the challenges of home-based learning in the new normal in Christ the King College. Joining us today are our administrators, namely Mrs. Marizal Osocho, our academic coordinator, Mrs. Rosabel Aspiras, our principal, and Sister Connie Gakutan, our school directress, together with the ICM sisters. To formally start our session, may I call on Mrs. Marisol Osocho to lead us into prayer.
Our Heavenly Father, the font of all goodness and grace, the cause of wisdom, the source of intelligence. We welcome you, O Lord, to this auspicious gathering of your beloved, who continuously give you thanks for every opportunity to learn something new and become fruitful to the works of your creation. We welcome you, O Lord, and we humbly come to you, not because we are worthy, but because we find ourselves in need of you, who is our strength and our hope. We pray that today's gathering, made possible by the grace of advancement in technology and social media, becomes successful in its endeavors. So we can offer it back to you as our humble offering to honor you, to glorify you, and to love you through our deeper connection with everyone. May we find bliss in today's session and become more productive children and co-creators of the earth. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Ma'am Maricel, for that very meaningful prayer. To formally welcome our guest for today, our very dynamic high school principal, Mrs. Rosabel Aspiras, will now deliver her opening remarks. Ma'am?
To our dear students from kinder to grade 12, our guest, Mr. Ruben Velarde Jr., the three student panelists, CKC personnel, ICM sisters, our dear parents and guardians, good afternoon. Welcome to this panel discussion with the theme, Students' Voice, Flourishing in Home-Based Learning. So, how are you in this time of pandemic? What was your year been like so far? The pandemic is 1 year and 46 days today, to be exact. Kung tao sana si pandemic, nag 1 year na siya noong March 15. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected the different structures of the society, the political, economic, social, and cultural aspects. Education is a part of this. The pandemic created the largest disruption of education systems in human history, but it has also provided us with an opportunity to pave way for introducing online distance learning. Christ the King College modalities of distance and modular learning have changed the learning in many ways. Students to not just move to online learning of synchronous and asynchronous and work on self-directed modules, but also kept social distance from their classmates, some members of family, relatives, and friends. It was quite challenging for some to adjust to a new normal. To name a few, a new way of learning, a new way of doing performance tasks from group to individual, a new way of validating learning, a new way of doing things from school to home, a new way of living, a new way of greeting, a new way of eating and dining, and many more. Many have missed the face-to-face interaction with their teachers. Many have missed the social mingling with people around them, their immediate environment, and even with the natural world. For some, it simply meant spending more time with the family and relatives. Through this virtual panel discussion, it gives us an opportunity to listen to how you, our dear students, feel about distance learning, but most especially the three panelists' stories of overcoming the challenges in today's situation. Let us all listen to what would be shared today. For our dear students watching right now, I challenge you with these three big words: inspiration, motivation, and voice. Be inspired by your schoolmates' insights. Be motivated by their rich sharing of experiences, and be the voice that will shape the future of the new face of tomorrow. May I repeat, be inspired by your schoolmates' insights, be motivated by the rich sharing of experiences, and be the voice that will shape the future of the new face of tomorrow. Again, welcome everyone to this panel discussion. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ma'am Aspiras, for your warm welcome. At this juncture, I am sure you are all excited to meet our guest speaker, And so, without further ado, may I now call on Mrs. Maricel Osocho for the introduction of the guest speaker. Ma'am?
Our speaker is shaping the conversation about Philippine education through his work as an educator, trainer, consultant, writer, editor, advocate, and leader. He is a multi-awarded learning activist, recently winning the 21st Century Learning Award in the 2020 British Educational Training and Technology Asia Awards that recognize EdTech trendsetters and innovators who are revolutionizing education across the Asia-Pacific region. He is known for his advocacy on learning innovations. Such advocacy, informed by a deep understanding of the country's education landscape, enabled him to craft relevant, scalable, sustainable innovations. As a consultant, he has guided many schools nationwide in planning and pivoting as they transition to various distance learning modalities amid the pandemic. Among the learning innovations that he pioneered are the Giftedness Instruction for Talent Development Program, touted as the country's most comprehensive talent development program in basic education, which won in the 2013 Excellence in Educational Transformation Award from the Bayan Academy of ABS-CBN Bayan Foundation. He also puts up the Paulinian Alternative Learning Program, the first blended learning program in basic education in the Philippines. Besides serving as a consultant in various areas of instruction and curriculum, he has also conducted local and international trainings or professional development programs for school leaders and teachers. His areas of expertise include educational technology, distance learning, curriculum and instruction, and student activity programs, among others. His brainchild, ARALinks, is a holistic technology integration program designed for the Philippine K-12 context. As the Director of Digital Innovation of Phoenix Publishing House Incorporated, his work impacts over 500,000 learners and 10,000 teachers all over the Philippines through the ARALinks Learning Revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, the country's first and only educator certified by the International Society for Technology and Education, ISTE, Mr. Ruben Velarde.
Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Maricel, for that introduction. Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Christ the King College Students' Voice. I am Sir Ruben, or to your teachers, I am known as Sir V. At the onset, I would like to thank the administration of Christ the King College, led by Sister Connie Gaputan, for this opportunity to speak to your high school students this time, okay? So I will be the moderator of this afternoon's discussion with you, our high schoolers of CKC. Now, if you can clearly see or hear me, kindly write down on the comment box, okay, from which town, city, or province, or country are you watching us right now? Kindly do that now, please. Come on, guys, those who are on YouTube right now, kindly write down in the comment box from which town, city, province, or country. I don't know, maybe one or two of you are in another country. Okay, kung saan kasalukuyang nanonood ngayon. Come on, write them down. Thank you for participating. So most of you are really in La Union, okay? Okay, thank you, okay? So let us now start with our discussion, okay? But before I do that, I think I am going to introduce first and foremost our student panelists. Okay, as I call on your name, kindly say hello to your fellow high schoolers from CKC and introduce yourselves again to them, okay? Let's start first with Frances. Go ahead, Frances.
Hi everyone, I am Frances Pauline A. Lasquite, currently a grade 12 STEM student.
STEM student, grade 12. Ralph, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ralph Ivan Seniceto from grade 9-3 St. Margaret of Scotland.
Okay, Marie.
Hello everyone, I am Marie Therese and Balong Ange a 7th St. John Gualbert student of Christ the King College High School.
Okay, so welcome again, okay, to this discussion. Welcome again to the three of you to this conversation. Are you ready already? Are you ready already? Okay, are you now ready? Frances, are you ready? Thumbs up, please. Ready? Ralph, are you ready? Okay. Marie-Therese, are you ready? Okay. Those who are watching us right now, I don't know how you can signal to me that they're also ready. Okay, maybe you can put on the comment box mga kamay po na naka-thumbs up. Okay, anyway, okay, let's start. Schools all over the world were caught unprepared as the pandemic interrupted schooling during the last few weeks of last school year. Do you still remember that? Okay, towards the end of the school year, suddenly nag-close ang mga eskwelahan. And for this school year, schools were challenged to keep learning going despite the pandemic. Schools scrambled to find solutions for learning to keep going, from technology and content to teacher training and upskilling. Because of the pandemic, the only way to go for schools to continue to provide quality learning, despite the challenges and difficulties to do so, is what we call distance learning, or home-based learning, or remote learning. This means no face-to-face or physical encounter with teachers, classmates, and all other school personnel such as the librarian, security guards, maintenance staff, etc. Okay, did you miss these people in school? Frances, did you miss them? Ralph? Therese?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Miss na miss po.
Miss na. Okay. To those who are watching us right now on the comment box, kindly write down who in school have you missed most and what did you miss most about them or about this person. You may want to tag them if they are on YouTube. Come on. The three of you can also join in the conversation. Okay? The three of you can also join in the conversation. So those who are watching us on YouTube, pakisulat nga if you want to tag them. Come on. But I think you cannot tag them. You cannot comment if you have not yet subscribed to my channel. Okay? So to those who are watching, please subscribe to my channel. It's services. Okay? It is replete with content that is related to teaching and learning. And at the same time, okay, the good news is, for this afternoon, I will be giving out, magpapa-contest po ako ng konti, okay? Mamimigay po ako ng mga distance learning prizes to those that will give comment and to those that will, answer my questions. Anyway, I'll talk more about that later, okay? Sige, there you go. Okay, so in the Philippines, do you know, guys, that distance learning has become more challenging because of the so-called digital divide? I repeat, the digital divide. What is that? The gap between those who have access to technology or those who do not have the access with technology. Again, that is the so-called digital divide. It's either you have it or you don't have it, or even if you have it, if you have poor access, and it's still a digital divide, okay? This is the reason some are learning via what is called modular or offline learning, while others are learning through online method, okay? These have become the main methods or modality in distance learning in this country. And like I said earlier, distance learning is new to most of us in education. Teachers, parents, school personnel, and of course you, our dear students. Do you know that your teachers had to learn a lot of new things just to prepare for this school year? Araw-araw yan, okay? They had to, to attend webinars. They had to go through upskilling for them to be able to prepare for this school year, okay? At ang dami pa po nilang ginawa. So in other words, ladies and gentlemen, we are all flying the distance learning plane as we are building it. Imagine that, I say it again. We are all flying, parents, teachers, students. We are all flying the distance learning plane as we are all building it. Pinapalipad na natin yung eroplano na ang pangalan ay distance learning habang binibuild pa natin yung eroplano. Okay? Just imagine that. Okay, last week, we heard about the significant learning experiences in distance learning of your parents as they guide and support you at home. So this afternoon, let us discuss also your experiences as students in building and flying this plane called distance learning. This time, kayo naman po na high schoolers ang pakikinggan ko kasi kaninang umaga ang pinakinggan po nating lahat ay ang ating mga grade schoolers, okay? And as your fellow CKC students, parents, and teachers listen to your voices this afternoon, it is our hope that we learn our lessons so that we can improve how we fly the plane next school year for a smooth and safe ride, okay? So once again, welcome to the CKC Students' Voice. So other than our guest student panelists, I encourage all of you who are watching right now to join the discussion, okay? Write down your comments about the topic or the issues being discussed on the comment box below. I shall also be giving distance learning load muna, okay, to the comments chosen by our staff who are assisting us in this session. And other than the comments, I said this earlier, I will be also asking questions, okay, and the first to give the correct answer also wins distance learning load and other prizes, okay? So let's have a warm-up question for 50 peso load, okay? 50 peso load, paunahan ha. So, ang lima or anim, I'll choose 6. The first 6 to give me the correct answer will give 50 peso distance learning load, okay? The question here is, what are, or write down on the comment box, the 2 primary ways or methods of distance learning in the Philippines? Go now and write down your answer, okay? Go, go, go. And write down your answer now, everybody. Go write down your answer now. Okay. Okay, do we have winners already? I think we have winners already. So our staff will be giving me the names of these winners and you will receive your prize through our integration facilitator for CKC, and that is our Ate Joyce Aris. Okay, so are you ready, guys? Are you ready, Marie-Therese, Frances, and Rafa? Okay, this is my first question. The first part is called DL, but DL does not stand for distance learning, okay? For this part of our conversation, DL stands for definitely learning. That's my first question. Are you learning, okay? Are you learning despite all the, the difficulties, despite all the challenges? Okay, my first question is, what do you like most about this new way of learning? What do you like most about distance learning? What do you like most about this learning in the new normal? Marie-Therese first, go ahead. What do you like most?
Sir, the thing that I like most during this online learning is that the way that they use this online learning or distance learning as a good strategy to overcome and cope this COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh yeah, but what do you really like about it? Like, of course, this was used really to keep learning going despite the pandemic. But specifically, Therese, ano yung pinakagusto mo about it? Ano yung pinakagusto mong feature ng distance learning?
The way that I still have interactions together with my friends, my classmates, and my teachers.
Because maybe initially you thought mawawala. Is that so? You thought mawawala, but because your teachers are very good, I think, they were able to still connect you through the technology with your classmates. Okay, Ralph, what about you, Ralph? Go ahead, Ralph.
Sir, 4 things: family, self, God, flexibility. But more so flexibility because during this distance learning, we have been given the opportunity and the freedom to answer our modules whenever we like. And through that, we're able to concentrate and answer the modules comfortably without feeling the pressure to finish it on time. Yun po, sir.
Okay, that's flexibility. You're talking about that feature of distance learning where you can access the content on demand, correct? That is on demand. It doesn't have to be synchronous, right? Okay, but you mentioned about family. Would you like to elaborate on that? Family and friends and God. Meron ka sinabi, but you only explained about flexibility.
Okay.
What about family? Go ahead.
Family, because we're in distance learning, we have been given a lot of time to spend the time with our family and to just help them with their businesses, to grow with them and to help them in chores. For self, it's all about, sir, self-reflecting and having the time to just pause, relax. Unlike in school po na all day po na per hour may ginagawa pag nasa bahay po, we had the time to relax po. And God, kasi po nabibigyan din po kami ng time to God po to maintain our healthy spiritual journey with Him po during distance learning.
Thank you, Francis. Your turn.
Sir, just like what Ralph said, what I like about distance learning is the flexibility where we are able to accomplish tasks at our own pace and time. Aside from that, distance learning allowed us to rediscover ourselves more on the aspect of learning what learning style suits us best, and it gives us a sense of responsibility because in the real world, we have to admit that we need to rely on ourselves more aside instead of being dependent on other people.
Good. Okay, 2 points there. Okay, I like your point about discovering your learning style. So what was the learning style that you discovered because of distance learning? What learning style did you personally discover?
I discovered that I am more of a visual learner, sir.
Well, in the old normal, why did you not discover that? Why did you not see that? Maybe because?
One factor, sir, is that I am mostly joining co-curricular activities, so I am not always in the classroom, sir.
Okay. So you were always out of the classroom. So now that there is more focus on academics, you discover that you are more visual, correct? Am I right, Frances?
Yes, sir.
And I like your second point. You also pointed out that it allowed you, it instilled in you that self-discipline, correct? To become independent, not to rely on others. That is the primary goal of distance learning. Ladies and gentlemen, the primary purpose of distance learning, aside from making sure that learning will keep going, is that it has to form self-directed learners. I say that again, it has to form self-directed learners, okay? Is that kind of learner talagang na-form sa inyo? Yun ang tanong ko sa mga nanonood ngayon. Naging self-directed ba kayo? Naging mas independent ba kayo? Come on, share also your experience to those who are watching right now, because our ates and kuyas from Phoenix Aralings are monitoring your answers and will be giving away distance learning loads based on your answers. Okay, are we ready, Ralph and Frances? Okay. Sige, next. Okay. What learning technique, although that was already answered by Frances earlier, she discovered that she is more of a visual learner. But let's push that further by maybe sharing to our listeners today, okay, ano yung learning technique or routine that you applied this school year and it worked? Because I am sure at the beginning, kinapan nyo muna, right? Kinakapan nyo muna. Now, after how many months of doing distance learning, what learning technique or routine worked for you? Marie, Therese, go ahead.
Sir, I have my own time management skills. And one of these is that there are times where I can finish 2 modules a day. And there are times that I can finish all modules in 1 week. There are also times where I am very good at procrastinating, which leads that I will create performance tasks and modules at the last minute. But what really worked for me is that when you are really determined to finish something, you will have the urge to finish to do so.
Okay. Or were you finishing all those modules because you want to get good grades or you want to really learn?
Grades is really important, but what really matters in life is where you learn. Because if you won't learn enough, if you won't learn anything, you won't be because you will be nothing.
Okay, so that was your primary motivation, not just the grade, but really your interest and desire to learn. Ralph?
So as funny as this sounds po, pero the technique that I use is I practice my answers inside the bathroom. While I shower, while I take a bath, I already formulate possible questions that are going to be asked during our synchronous classes, as well as answers that I need to finish my modules po. So that's the technique that I use while enjoying the warm shower po yun po.
Okay, natawa ako sa'yo because I do the same. Do you know that most of the so-called innovations that I introduced at work and most of the projects that I pioneered, nabuo ko yan sa loob ng either eroplano kasi hindi ako makatulog, or nabuo ko yan sa loob ng CR, or nabuo ko lahat yan sa loob ng sasakyan. Okay? So I can agree with you. In fact, before coming here, before joining you, I had to review my questions to the graders earlier at doon ko rin nabuo yung mga panibagong questions na tatanungin ko sa inyo. Okay, so I think that worked for you. What about you, Frances?
The first thing I do, sir, is I have to create a list of tasks I have to accomplish. And the second that I think really worked for me is that me and my friends, we have a routine that we get to work on a certain subject during a specific time span of the day so that whenever one of us have questions, we can attend to him or her right away. And that for me is very helpful.
Did you have to adjust? Because two things here, Frances. Number one, you were saying that in the past, you were more active outside of the school, right? And then, pangalawa, okay, so is there an adjustment there? Because ngayon naman, hindi ka naging active, pero iba naman yung form ng learning. Did you have to adjust?
Hindi naman po, sir.
Because? Why?
Because I think I am flexible enough to adjust to the circumstances presented in front of me, sir.
Good, because naturally siguro you're already very responsible and nababalanse mo naman siguro yan, right? So in the process of learning, okay, the process of learning from home, what values were you able to form or adopt? What values did you adopt or develop as you learned from home? Ralph first, right, Ralph? Ano yung pinakabagong value? Siguro.
Sir, I have always been an independent student, so independence is not new to me. But what I've acquired the most is self-control, sir, because there are a lot of temptations around you and the urges to keep scanning your phone, to keep watching Netflix, movies is there. So what you need most is self-control, because when you have self-control, then you can really focus on what you're doing. So that's what I've acquired, sir. That's what I've learned through distance learning, self-control.
Self-control and self-discipline. But just the same, I also advise all of you na do not also deny yourselves from enjoying something that is not academic related. Okay? From time to time, it's okay to watch Netflix. Okay? From time to time, it's okay to also chat with others kasi I am sure mabuburyo kayo pagka maghapon yan na 8 oras, wala kayong kausap kundi yung papel lang ninyo o yung computer nyo sa online distance learning. Correct? But I like your word. It's called self-control because too much, of course, is not good, right? Marami. Gusto mo nang tapusin yung series, kumusta na yung module? So you have to choose also what to watch. Okay, manood ng series. Okay, manood ng series. Baka masagot na lang ninyo, may kinalaman na lahat sa series. Okay? Pag nag-essay na yung teacher nyo, nare-relate nyo pa rin sa series ang sagot nyo. As a senior high schooler, Frances, what about you?
Sir, first is honesty. Second is responsibility because I have to manage my digital distractions. And third is the value of understanding or compassion because we all know that each student carries different burdens and we don't know how they struggle behind the cameras during synchronous classes. So during group works, as a leader, you tend to become more understanding and you will tend to ask your group mates how they are doing or what problems they encounter or what they need from you as their leader so that you can address their needs.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I like that. This morning, do you know that your mga adding sa grade school, you're all Ilocano, you know what adding means. Yung mga adding nyo sa grade school, they were also talking about compassion. But I like that Frances is pointing out that compassion that you can also extend to your classmates. Kasi kaninang umaga, and even in my previous panel discussions, ang pinag-uusapan namin compassion ay compassion ng parents sa inyo, compassion ng teachers sa inyo. But it's my first time to hear that a student needs also to be compassionate, not only to himself or herself, but to others. And I didn't know that in a group work, for example, you can practice compassion, okay? Be compassionate. Tama si Frances po. You don't know kung anong pinagdadaanan ng karamihan. Correct? Yeah, I always tell your teachers, okay? I always remind teachers all over the Philippines, come on. You don't know the condition of students at home. Okay? Kaya nga minsan sinasabi ko sa kanila, even the requirements that you give them, they have to be flexible. Okay? Do not require all of them to create a video. For one, baka ni isa doon, yung isang pamilya ni isa, wala man lang pang video record among many other, problems that they may encounter from creating those performance tasks. Okay, the outputs for those performance tasks. Okay, Marie, Therese, what about you?
Sir, like what Ate Frances said and what you have said for a while ago, I also agree that us students need to be compassionate in others. Because
Yeah.
aside from the fact that that we do not really know what's going around about them, we really need to understand how they adjust to the situation. Not only us do experience the effects of the pandemic, also them. It's also
Yeah.
important to use our skills as students, especially those who really have high intelligence to other people who cannot understand their lessons. It is important that all of us, na lahat po tayo ay dapat umunlad po sa ganitong panahon. It is
Good.
important na bangon-bangon po tayong lahat.
Great. And the only way to flourish is to be compassionate, I think, right? The only way to flourish is not just to flourish na ikaw lang, pero tulungan mo yung iba din na mag-flourish. Uulitin ko, napakaganda po ng mensahe ng ating mga estudyante sa high school ngayon. Kailangan, like what Therese said, Marie-Therese said, sabay-sabay tayong mag-flourish. Sabay-sabay tayong umusbong. Gaano man kahirap to, sabay-sabay na tayong mag-grow. Beautiful, beautiful ladies, okay, and gentlemen, okay. Can you therefore say that you did learn? So DL now means did learn, okay? Can you claim that you did learn despite all the challenges, despite not being with your teacher physically? Looking back, I would like you to be very, very honest. Can you proudly say, or can you confidently say that yes, DL to me is I did learn? Who would like to go first? Just raise your hand if you want to answer first. Oh, wala na palang gustong sumagot. Okay, go ahead, Marie-Therese, go ahead.
I am proud to say that I did learn. But first of all, for me, as a freshman student in this high school, and being a grade 7 student means much to me. Especially po kapag math po ang ating subject, it's really a new environment. Unang grading pa lang po, para po sa akin napakahirap yun. Parang gusto mo na pong umalis na po mag-school. Parang napakahirap po kasi intindihan ang math ngayon. Especially po na-introduce na po ang algebra, statistics, and etc. And as a student, it's really hard to overcome this kind of subjects, which is why I did a lot of research. I practice with the help of my friends and with the help of my parents, and with me as a determined student in order to obtain a very good community. I did this all in order to promote self-awareness, in order to promote everyone's well. I mean,
Okay.
everyone's sake.
Okay, so but you did learn. You can claim that you did learn despite embracing something new. Kasi from grade school ka biglang high school. Ibang-iba environment, right? Ibang-iba.
Yes po.
In fact, Marie-Therese, you did not actually see the actual high school culture yet. What you saw is a virtual high school culture. Iba ang teachers, yes or no? Iba.
Ibang-iba po sila.
Ibang-iba yung trato sa inyo kasi hindi na kayo kids, right? Do they still call you children in high school? Di ba hindi na?
Anak po ang tawag po nila sa amin.
Anak. Okay, sige pala. Sorry, anak pala. Okay, anak. Kaya nga children. Anak. Okay. Anak, okay. In English lang, okay? So children, okay. But you had to do a lot of adjustments. Dalawa yung adjustments mo. Okay? But despite that, you can claim that you did learn. Ralph. Of course, I know that you did learn. Di ba sa CR pa lang you did learn na. So, but okay.
Yes.
But just the same, go ahead, Ralph.
I'm happy to say that I did learn naman po during this distance learning, not only the topics being discussed to us by our teachers, but also different values that we can apply in real life. For example, sir, I've learned to appreciate every single moment that I've had during this distance learning, because now we're coming to an end, and it's all about just being grateful po, and yun po.
But you did learn. You did learn. I think na-overwhelm ka, marami kang gustong sabihin. Kasi alam mong nahirapan ka, but you know that you did learn. Frances, go ahead.
Yes, sir, I definitely learned. I was able to understand the necessary concepts in every subject and integrate them in my daily activities or in my future profession.
Okay. Okay, not only because you are a self-directed learner, but I think it's also because your teachers made sure that you will learn. Okay, so that's DL. That's part one, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about definitely learning. Okay, DL stood for definitely learning. This time, of course, alam ko na may mga challenges din, right? So for this part, let's talk about the fact that sometimes it's also difficult learning. Thumbs up nga kayo kung may moment din na difficult learning. Ayaw ko na maniwala pag di kayo naniniwala doon. Kasi teachers nyo mismo, hirap na hirap. Like I said earlier, your teacher's background is not distance learning. We talked about distance learning back in college, pero pahapyaw lang. There was no practicum on distance learning. There was no manual that came with distance learning. Listen to this one because this is the context of our discussion. I introduced the very first distance learning in the Philippines 10 years ago. That's a decade ago. So it's the blended learning program at St. Paul College in Pasig, okay? It's a big school, exclusive school for girls, 5,000 students, okay? And that was a pioneering program. But I tell you that because of the pandemic, totally nag-iba yung mukha ng distance learning na alam ko. Nag-iba yung mukha ng distance learning na na-implement ko pa sa ibang school. Why? Listen to me. One, distance learning was designed for adults. At least si Terry at si Francis, medyo adult na to, papunta na doon. Maybe Ralph also because grade 9 si Ralph. But Marie Therese, not an adult. Just imagine this morning, I was talking to a grade 3 student. That's not an adult. So just imagine that. Kasi nga pang self-directed learning siya, pang independent learning siya, pero may kinder, may grade 1, may grade 2. That's what I'm saying. Iniba ng pandemya ito ang mukha ng distance learning. Number 2, listen to me. It's also new because distance learning became mainstream. Dati, ang distance learning pang 10 tao lang per class. Kaya ang performance task pwedeng iba-iba. Pero ngayon si teacher nyo, ilan kayo in one class? 30? I don't know. 30? Am I correct? 30? And that's just one section. Ilang sections ang hawak niya? Ilang sessions ang hawak niya? So there, it became mainstream, so ang hirap sa side din ng teacher niya. But of course, we also know that that sometimes it was, DL also meant difficult learning for you, my dear students. That's why let's talk about that difficult part, okay? Anyway, I just want to share to those that are watching that the management of self-directed learning or the way you manage to be independent learner is called heutagogy. Something new, baka tanungin ko mamaya, okay? The management of self-directed learning is called heutagogy. H-E-U-T-A-G-O-G-Y. Heutagogy. H-E-U-T-A G-O-G-Y, heutagogy. That's the study or that's the management of self-directed learning, not the study, it's not the science, okay? Anyway, what challenges, I will ask a related question about that later, okay? What challenges in distance learning did you experience which turned to be a learning opportunity for you? I'm sure marami, but pwede bang kahit isa lang i-share ninyo ano yung pinaka-primary challenge talaga? But in the end, it turned out to be a learning opportunity for you. Who'd like to go first? Just one or two. Would you like to go first, Frances? What challenge?
At first, distance learning seemed too overwhelming for me, but eventually I was able to learn the value of time management. And aside from that, I learned one thing that I want students to realize. It is to not aim for perfection. Instead, they should aim to give the best they can do in every task because aiming for perfection will just put more pressure to them.
Yeah, and everyone is struggling in distance learning, right? Lahat nagsa-struggle yan. But again, I'm just curious to know, Frances, what was overwhelming about it to you? Ano na overwhelming part?
Sir, the sudden shift and the part that I have to read everything in the module and the lack of physical interaction with my classmates and teachers.
Yeah.
That was during the first quarters.
Yeah, but that's natural, I think, di ba? When you introduce something new, talagang magre-react ka. It's just like going to a new country and suddenly you were told by your parents, dito na tayo maninirahan. I am sure mga first 2 months mag-a-adjust talaga kayo. Okay, it's the same. Marie, Therese, what about you?
Sir, one of the big challenges po aside considering the internet connection in the Philippines is about 32.75 megabytes per second. I am also disturbed by the fact that some students really don't know how to understand the lessons, which is why this took me to be compassionate to other people. Aside from the fact that I can help myself, I also have to allot time for my classmates in order to help them with their studies.
Uh-huh. So you're talking about the digital divide that I said earlier, right? The challenge,
Sir, yes po.
connectivity. Uh-huh. But how did that turn out to be a learning opportunity for you?
Sir, it helped me po to balance myself and balance the time that I have for my classmates. It is important po to help other people para katulad po ng sinabi ko, sabay-sabay po tayong aangat.
In other words, okay, in other words, you were able to help those that had problems, I think, with connectivity. You became more compassionate as a team leader to them, right? Same with Francis. Same with Francis earlier. Okay, Ralph, nakaka-challenge ba na habang naliligo ka, giniginaw ka, tapos may bago kang natutunan? Go ahead, Ralph. Go ahead, Ralph.
To be honest, sir, I don't live with my parents and I have a younger brother, which is a first grader. So I only live with my grandmother and she's the only one who is supervising us right now. And
Uh-huh.
these challenges had given me the obligation to take care of my younger brother. I'm only 15 years old, but I have already been given the obligation to take care of my younger brother during his schoolworks and performance tasks, requirements, and modules. So, sir, it was really hard for me to manage my time for myself as well because I also want the best for my school, but again, I have to spare time for my younger brother because he also needs help in his modules. And I want both of us to have a great future ahead of us. So I really had to balance my time po and manage the things that I do every day. Yan po.
Okay, that's so nice of you. And that's inspiring, ha? Continue being a good kuya, good manong to your younger brother, okay? And do your best. Parang naiyak ka naman doon. Okay, nagulat kami lahat sa iyo doon, okay? But I hope that you're okay. I hope you're okay, Ralph. I can sense that you're okay naman. But just to say, if you are not okay, it's okay not to be okay, Ralph. It's okay not to be okay. And you have your teachers with you who can support you. CKC is a home of compassionate teachers and sisters. You can always, reach out to them, okay? It's okay not to be okay. Okay, Ralph? Okay?
Yes po, sir. Yes po.
Because I can sense that you are so focused, you are so determined with your studies. That's why you are also doing your best. But I also would like to caution you, go slow, Ralph. Go slow. Bata ka pa. I-enjoy mo din ang buhay mo. Okay? Enjoy mo din ang buhay mo. Who else would like to share, Francis? Or done ka na? Done ka na? Okay, sorry. Nalilito na ako. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about silver lining. Okay, what is a silver lining? A silver lining is a sign of hope or a positive aspect in an otherwise negative or difficult situation. So, what silver lining did you discover in your own experiences? Although you mentioned that earlier, you may want to explore further, expound further. Ano yung silver lining? Mahirap. Would you like to start, Ralph? Ano yung silver lining dyan? You're a kuya, you're a student, and so on. What's the silver lining there, Ralph?
For me, sir, the silver lining is always the dream, tomorrow, the unknown. Because, sir, I know that through my sacrifices and my efforts right now, I will eventually achieve the silver lining, which is my dreams. And I hope that in the near future, I can be someone who I always wanted to be.
Tatandaan nyo tong araw na to, okay? Itaga natin sa bato, you will be that person that you want to be, Ralph. I am telling you right now, I was once like you, I dreamt big. Okay, I dreamt big. I came from a very, very poor family, but because I had my dream, okay, I pursued that dream, and that dream, not just a silver lining, but I used that dream as an inspiration to do good in life. Okay, you will do well, Rob. You will do well. Okay. Frances, go ahead.
There is always kindness from within each one of us, because looking at all aspects, we can see how the teachers become so compassionate and devoted to their teaching, and the students, on the other hand, exhibit some sense of unity in such a way that they help one another despite struggling behind.
You're really very lucky. You're really very lucky because you are in an educational institution that does not just, form the mind, but you are in an educational institution called Christ the King College that ensures that you are formed holistically. And I can so sense that you are, uh, talagang ang lalim yung faith field foundation that you have in CKC. Anyway, okay. What about Marie? Go ahead, Marie. Marie Therese.
Sir, like Kuya Ralph po, my dream is my silver lining. Aside from the fact that meron po tayong mga challenges, especially for me, yung mga magulang ko po kasi di po nila napapagsabay na itaguyod po ako ng ading ko sa pag-aaral. My mom will come home from the government city office by 5 p.m. and my dad isn't here. And as an older sister, I really have to have myself, my sister, and to have in the household chores doing everything there. And my dream is the only thing that motivates me. The dream that motivates me in order to make everyone here in the world happy. And the
Okay.
fact that my mom has a very rare disease, I really want her to be very happy because I cannot really live without her. I want a good future ahead of us. I really want to promote everyone. I really want everyone to be the person that they really want to be, like Kuya Ralph has said a while ago.
And not just you. I like that, okay? Talagang napaka-selfless ng mga sinasabi ninyo. Parang ayoko nang pag-usapan ng distance learning. Pag-usapan na lang natin ang mga pangarap niyo sa buhay siguro. Okay, just kidding, okay? So we all talked about the good and not so good, meaning the challenges that you encountered, and of course, what's good about distance learning. So in a word or two words, maybe in a word or two, kindly describe your distance learning experience and elaborate how these have enriched your learning experience, or how these have enriched you. Okay. Anybody? A word or two? Go ahead. Ralph first, a word.
I think that the word that best describe my experiences this distance learning is torch. I think that the
What's the word?
pandemic
What's the word? Sorry, Ralph.
torch.
What's the word?
Sir,
Torch. Go ahead,
torch
Ralph.
po.
Torch.
This pandemic, in that torch, the pandemic is the ignition that sparks and lights that torch that we hold so high so that we can see what we're going through and navigate the future ahead of us. Yun po.
It's a torch. It's still something that will guide you, right? So minsan kasi yung torch maliwanag, pero minsan humahangin, nagdidilim siya. But just the same, for as long as there is a torch, you know that you are going somewhere, okay? You're going to a direction. Okay. Therese, what about you? What word or words would best describe?
Sir, plainly love lang po, because nothing is impossible when we do not love. Nothing is impossible when we love someone. And once we do not love that person, there are a lot of bad things that we can do. For example po, sir, in this time of pandemic, we should learn to love each other. No matter how painful or tragic things happen to us, no matter how people do betray us, we really have to love them, because that is a commandment of God. And because we knowing that everyone is important here, we need to do that also in order to promote our own sake. Importante po sa atin na sa panahon pong ganito, we should learn to love another.
Okay. So love, that's just the word, love. Okay, love. So in spite of the challenges and all the difficulties, panaigin ang love. Kasi yun yung recurring theme talaga ni sa atin, ni Therese. Has been saying na hindi lang dapat ako yung aangat, hindi lang dapat siya yung magsasurvive. She's been telling us that let us help each other get through all these challenges. Okay, get through these uncertainties. Okay, in distance learning and even in life, yun ang sinasabi niya. Okay, let's call on Frances. Pag nakabalik na si Frances, I think maybe Frances is having some difficulty with her connectivity. Okay. So in distance learning, we have many who serve as learning coaches as you are all learning from home. First, of course, is your teacher. Your teacher is still your primary learning coach, okay? Then at home, you have your parents, other family members, such as your siblings and relatives. There are also other adults who serve as your tutors, okay? And your classmates and friends also serve as your peer tutors. Can you type on the comment box, okay, who have been your learning coaches aside from your teachers, to those who are watching us right now? And to those who are watching us right now, I would like to remind you to also observe, that we need to be polite. Hindi po tayo nakikipagbiruan. We are going live today so that we can learn from each other. So please, we have blocked some of those that are on the live chat box because of some comments that are inappropriate. Okay, I would like to remind you that this is a discussion and we have to, to observe still, the right way to comment. And of course, ang pinaka-importante dito, if you have nothing good to say or if you have nothing, good to contribute, maybe wag nating paglaruan yung discussion na to because we are very, very serious about helping each other through this discussion, okay? So can you type on the comment box kung sino pa ang nagsilbing learning coach ninyo maliban sa teacher niya? You may want to tag him or her also, okay? Now this time, let us talk about these learning coaches at home, okay? Let us talk about their significant roles in your learning and also see how else they can further help you in your learning journey. Okay, but before I proceed to this part 3, yung part 3 natin, ang title naman, DL pa rin, pero meaning niya, Dear Learning Coaches. Dear Learning Tutors. Dear Learning, what else? Learning Coaches, ano yung DL natin dito, okay? Iba-iba yung meaning niya, okay? But before I proceed to that, okay, dear learning guys, dear learning coaches, dear learning inspiration. Before I proceed, okay, quiz tayo. 100 peso distance learning load, okay, to the first 5 that will give me the correct answer. The question here is, what do you call the gap between those who have access to technology or with technology and those who do not have? Repeat, how do you call that gap between those who have technology and technology access and those who have no technology or poor access? Come on, type down your answers. First 5 will receive 100 peso distance learning load. Okay, so let's begin with Maria Therese, okay? How can parents or those at home support their children in distance learning aside from constantly reminding them about their module? Aside from teaching them about the lesson, how else can adults at home support their children?
Sir, para po sa akin, yung mga magulang ko po, di po nila po kung makayang subaybayan po palagi mga 24/7 sa aking pagmamodule. Same po sa aking mga grandparents. But one thing I really like about them is that they compliment me and support me throughout the school year. That is what I really need from them. Kahit hindi po nila ako turuan, kahit di po nila ako bigyan ng sagot, ang importante po is that I can receive love from them. Because without motivation, I cannot go to success.
Okay, so they keep motivating you. They don't need to teach you about your lesson, but they keep, maybe inspiring you. Sige, okay lang yan if you fail, right? Malaking bagay ba sa'yo na very good ka, Marie Therese?
Po?
Malaking bagay ba na sinabihan ka ng parent mo, that's good, anak. That's okay, anak.
Yes po, because that is a sign that they are already contented with you. They do not want anything else more than you.
Okay.
You are enough for them.
Okay, sige. What about you, Ralph? Same question, Ralph. What is the role of adults at home? Kung makaka-relate ka, ha? Okay. Aside from teaching, because of, okay. What do you think? Is the role aside?
Sir, even though my parents are distant, they still show their love and support to me, just like what Marie said, sir. They still motivate me to do my best. And for that, I want to thank all of our parents for always granting us support and the love that we need despite the challenges that we are going through, because your love is the one thing that keeps us going. And yan po.
Okay, Frances, you're back, Frances. Okay, what about you, Frances? How can parents or the adults at home support you in distance learning?
Um, the one thing that we really need right now, sir, is emotional support because of
Mhm.
pressure and the burden that we carry, sir. And aside from that, parents could also remind us on deadlines and remind us to take it easy and not overwork ourselves, sir.
Yeah, it's about compassion also, right? You talked about that earlier, but it's the same, right? That compassion should begin at home. Okay, to the parents, maybe you are watching, right? Although last week I reminded you about this, okay? Do not pressure your kids so much, okay? Okay? Mahirap yung pinagdadaanan nila. It is not as simple as just accomplishing the module. Na-accomplish mo ngayong module, pagod na pagod ka naman at bigla kang nawalan ng gana. I don't know if you came across that article, the three of you, okay? You know that feeling daw between, you're not depressed naman, but at the same time, you're not also very happy about what's going on. So nasa middle ka lang. You know what ano yung tawag doon? It's called languishing. That feeling of blah. Yung blah, yung parang wala ka nararamdaman, nasa gitna ka lang. You are not sure kung masaya ka or okay ka with what you're doing and you're not even sure kung hindi ka naman depressed. You're not also down. It's just that you're in the middle and wala, parang blanco. That's a feeling of blah, right? That's a feeling of blah and it's called languishing. And to those of you that are languishing right now, it's okay. It's okay. Give yourself time to recover. Okay. Give yourself time to relax. That's the reason I was also sharing this morning. Yung isang pamangkin ko, sabi ko nga sa kanya, okay, sumingit ka ng ibang activities mo. Maybe you can enroll a class na free that is not related to what you're doing. Correct? Learn a skill. This is the time to learn a skill, a new skill, guitar, a new language, maybe, okay, or a new sport. Okay? Lalo si Francis, namimiss mo ng extracurricular activities siguro. Okay? Ano namimiss mo sa extracurricular activities na sinasalihan mo, Francis? Is it also academics?
Sir, journalism po.
Oo, talagang press con kid ka pala. Okay? Ako ay, bago ako nag-edtech, ay isa akong babad sa mga press conferences. Ilang taon din yan bago ko naiwanan ang pagmamahal ko sa Division Schools Press Conference, Regional Press Conference. Meron bang virtual? Wala. Do they have the virtual press conference?
This year, sir, meron po kaming sinalihan, sir, and nanalo din po students from...
But that's not the NSPC. That's not the DepEd. It's different, okay? Because I also put up something similar to NSPC for private schools. It's called Right Tool, WRITE, Right and then Tool. Okay, anyway, that's the Right Tool National Summit. Okay. Pinote up ko yun many years ago. Nasingit ko lang kasi napag-usapan namin ni Francis. Okay, good. So that's languishing. Again, when you're languishing, it's fine. Find something else na makakapagpasaya sa inyo. Sabi nga ni Ralph kanina, remember, okay lang na manood kayo ng Netflix pasingit. Pero, anong sabi mo? Self-control. Huwag naman manood ng isang series. Nagsisynchronous na, nasa series ka pa. Diba? Kayo pa man din, multitaskers kayo, alam ko yan, isang screen ninyo, 10 yung naka-open, pero kaya nyo. Tama? Kaya nyo, okay? Kaya nyo gawin yun. Anyway, okay? Aside from explaining the lessons, it's the same question, okay? Doon sa parents kanina. Aside from explaining the lessons, how else can teachers support students? Is it the same? Proud. Sige nga. Is it also about compassion? Aside from explaining the lesson, how else can your teachers support you? Your teachers are watching right now. It's fine.
Sir, I think po na a session like Kamustahan, sir, is very important, and it's something that's close to my heart because, sir, through their support, sa pamamagitan po ng kamustahan na yun, sir, malalaman po nila kung ano po yung pinagdadaanan ng bawat estudyante nila. At sir, alam po nila na magbigay po ng compassion at consideration po sa mga students po nila. So I think, sir, yung mga sessions po na ganun ay maganda, sir.
Individual kumustahan, you like that? Or a class? Or as a class? Or as a group? What do you
Sir, either po. Okay lang po.
Either. Okay, but okay, you maybe you can begin with individual kumustahan and then group kumustahan and then class kumustahan. Walang lesson. Walang lesson. Baka kumustahan na pinag-usapan pa rin lesson. Hindi naman. How are you? Di ba ganon? Di ba? How are you? And so on. Malaking bagay yun sa inyo. Correct? You agree, Frances? You agree that kumustahan is okay? Is good for you, Frances?
Yes,
even in senior high?
Yes, sir.
What else do you propose?
Sir, I agree with Ralph kasi I believe that students during this time sometimes feel lost, and with the help of the teachers, they will be redirected with their mindset, their point of view or perspective to distance learning, and with that, they can find a good purpose of having this. And I believe that emotional and mental stability are key factors in the good performance of students in the distance learning.
Great, great. It's still wellness. Kung the order of things in my life are the following. I proposed it to schools all over the world where I had my my webinar. Sabi ko, the order of things in distance learning, because everything is uncertain, is number 1, wellness. Number 2, learning. Number 3, grades. When school started to ask, how do we grade students? How do we grade students? Binalik ko yung tanong. How do you know that they are learning? That's the first question. Okay? Kasi they were so concerned about how they compute the grades. No. I asked them, or I told them, be first concerned about knowing if your students are really learning. But number 1, of course, is wellness. Again, teachers are watching, wellness daw ang priority nila. And of course, your teachers also deserve good, deserve that kind of wellness. I tell you, pareho lang din kayo ng pinagdadaanan. Ang hirap. Maghapon si teacher, kayo lang ang kausap niya at hindi niya alam kung nakikinig kayo o hindi. Okay? Burnout din ng teacher. Ma-overwhelmed din yan. Pag-prepare ng module, overwhelmed na si teacher. That's why, okay, mental health for students, kung may mental health concern tayo for students, dapat may mental health concern din tayo for teachers. That's the reason I also conducted the kumustahan that Ralph said. For many sessions na yun, ginagawa ko yun. Some of your teachers would attend my kumustahan. But I do that, okay, with all teachers all over the Philippines. Marie-Therese, would you like to add? How else can teachers support you aside from explaining the lesson? Marie-Therese.
Sir, like Ate Frances po said, it is important that teachers should fulfill each other's student emotional and mental stability. Kasi katulad po ng sabi po ninyo, not all students, hindi lang po ang mga students ang nakakaranas ng mga pagbe-breakdown, pati rin po talagang teachers. Kitang-kita po sa mga effort nila. I also have encounters with my teachers yun. Kapag po nag-message po talaga po siya sa akin, they are really compassionate and sincere about it, which is why nakaka-touch po yun ng puso. It's really heartwarming to see that teachers are always there for students, but some students are also disrespecting teachers, which is why it is a very disturbing issue in this kind of society.
Oh yeah, okay. Not just in your school. That's the common problem all over the world. It's not just doesn't just happen in your school. No, nangyayari yan sa lahat ng eskwelahan. Okay, but that's a good reminder, Therese. Okay, fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Let's not take a look at the learning style, the teaching styles. Your teachers are here listening. Magpo-propose lang naman kayo, okay? For things that they can consider so that you can all learn. Okay, fill in the blanks, and you want to explain. Very briefly, to be effective, our teachers should be blank. Ralph.
Sir, I think po that all of our teachers are doing great, and we all appreciate their efforts po. Pero I think that if they need to be entertaining po, because to be honest, sir, we wake up 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. and then some students are still in their beds. So kapag po medyo boring po yung pag-discuss or medyo slow po yung voice, matitrigger po yun na parang matulog po ulit yung mga students. So I think po na activities, sir, makakatulong po yun sa mga students para makikooperate din po sila sa discussion.
More engaging activities. But what you're saying, overall naman naayos na, right? They're doing their best, but you just want them to be more energetic, yun nasasabi mo, right? Same with your addings this morning. That's what they also propose. Teachers daw. Lalo daw yung first period. Siyempre naman po. Okay? Lalo yung first period, kailangan pagisingin natin. Tapos ang opening pa lang, wala ka pa sa video, narinig pa ng mga bata, yung tiltilaok ng manok. Okay? Nagtilaok yung manok. Anyway, Frances, to be effective, our teachers should be blank.
They should be innovative, enthusiastic, and engaging so that students will feel more comfortable during synchronous discussions.
Good. Marie?
Sir, for me po, it is important for teachers that they should be strict, especially with how they answer the aralings and modules. For
Why?
me po, sir, I recommend answering more in the aralings compared to the modules. It is because a lot of students are cheating. Para po sa akin, marami po akong nakaka-receive ng messages na nagsisikopyahan po sila, which is a very, very, very disturbing fact. Because naaawa po ko sa kanila kasi they do not know nothing. Tapos po kapag magpaparecite po yung teacher po sa kanila, they don't know actually nothing. So for me, I prefer kapag po magsasagot po tayo ng aralings, may time limit, and at the same time we are occurring a Google Meet for everyone to monitor themselves. Kung talaga po nagsasagot po sila na mag-isa or may kasama po sila.
Okay.
Another thing that teachers should be also humorous in order to attract the students' attitude or behavior.
Okay. Same with Francis and ano kanina. And I forgot na danin po agad Ralph. Okay. But I just want to remind you that sometimes walang time limit ang mga assessments because they are recorded but they are not graded. It's called formative assessment. So it's all about mastery. Okay. But of course, you're reminding them to be honest even if it is just for mastery. Okay. That's a reminder from your classmate. Okay. If you were to choose a format or a medium, what would, to demonstrate what you learned, what would that be? Diba? If you're given the chance, if you're given the freedom to choose, I would like, because most of the time, the way you would demonstrate learning is by writing, correct? Written, video, and so on. But if you had your way of doing it, of showing that this is my learning, to demonstrate learning, what would that be, Ralph?
Sir, just like what Ate Frances said po, if I were a teacher, I would think of innovative ways to engage my students and assess their learning. And nowadays po, sir, mobile apps and mobile games are very popular. So I think, sir, students will definitely engage themselves and cooperate when they're using mobile apps, sir. Yun po.
Okay, Aralis will have a mobile version next school year. Just so
Yes,
you know,
sir.
Aralis will be on mobile. Nag-try na kayo, no? Nag-mobile na kayo ng Aralis yata. Okay, Frances, what about you, Frances? What is the best way to demonstrate learning, to show that you learned it?
Sir, for me, I think since CKC caters to holistic development, practical applications are
Good.
important, sir.
Practical application. Would you like to add to that? Yun na yan, practical, right? That your teachers will require you to demonstrate the skill in a new situation.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. So hindi kayo okay sa knowledge recall type of questions? You don't like that? Anybody here? You would prefer something that would require you to apply it in a new situation rather than being asked, recall type of questions? Is that what you said, Ralph? Okay, Marie, would you like to elaborate on that?
Sir, because in this environment, we should use whatever we learn in our real life. Hindi po lang dapat po sa mga identification or analogies po na apply ang ating pag-aaralan, kung hindi po rin sa ating buhay. Because that's why we are studying in order to apply into our future.
Okay, good. But of course, your teachers in CKC know that. Your teachers in CKC know that, okay? But just the same, I'm happy that it's coming from you also, okay? So, in your current online distance learning setup, okay, would you choose to have more time on synchronous or asynchronous session? Saan mas madami dapat time? Synchronous or asynchronous session? Marie?
Sir, synchronous po. Aside from the fact that we have interaction together with our teachers and schoolmates, we are also monitored by our teachers if we are really learning, if we are really listening to them. Kasi po, as what you have said po, masakit po sa damdamin ng mga teachers kapag po nalaman nila na hindi po nag-aaral ng maigi mga kanilang estudyante. Meron po akong ganitong encounter po this school year, which is really heartbreaking.
Okay. But we can only do so much, okay? We can only do so much because we can sense that Marie Therese really want everyone to learn, okay? Nakikita niyo yung goal niya na yon. But you can only do so much also, Teresa, okay? Nasa tao na yun, kung gusto na rin niya talaga matuto. We can only try our best to help each other. But If they will not help themselves, wala na kayo magagawa. Okay, Ralph? What about you, Ralph?
Sir, I think po the same with Therese po, sir, synchronous classes din po. Kasi sir, through synchronous classes, the topics are being discussed further and the students are interacting with their teacher. And sir, through synchronous classes, sir, pwede rin pong mag-explain yung teacher or mag-ask ng questions yung mga students po.
But immediate feedback is also given to you, correct? Or from your end also, you can also ask questions immediately like what you said. Would you like to add, Frances? Go ahead, Frances.
Sir, just the same synchronous classes because exchange of ideas are important in learning, and for the benefit of those who can attend synchronous classes, teachers can record synchronous classes and post them on their group chats or Google Classroom.
Okay, that is also indicative of the fact that you are really missing face-to-face synchronous session. Tama, namimiss yun na yun talaga, nandun yung teacher mo din, di ba? At nandun physically din, may kausap ka. Correct? Tama ba? Tama ba? O si Frances, hindi niya na mararanasan. College na yung susunod niya. Okay? Kaya nga mga first year college, hindi man lang nila naranasan yung tinatawag namin sa college niya. First year high, yung opening week and so on, everything became virtual. Okay? But of course, I think for next school year, it's still distance learning. It's still distance learning, I'm telling you. Okay? Still distance learning. And hopefully, may konti ng face-to-face next school year. Especially because in La Union, I think, mababa naman ang COVID case. Okay? Okay, break muna tayo. Let's have one more quiz. For 100 peso load, I would like, okay, first 2 persons to give the correct answer to this question, okay? What do you call the management of self-directed learning? The management of independent learning, it begins with letter H. It refers to the management of self-directed learning or independent learning. Wrong spelling, wrong, okay? It begins with letter H. Come on. Come on, okay? O, sige. 1.5 hours na pala tayo nagkukwentuhan. Okay? Okay. O, sige. Write down your answers there, okay? Okay, continue. Okay, let's begin with Frances. Other than grades, Frances, the kind of feedback that you need for your teachers, ano to? What kind of feedback should teachers be giving you aside from grades? Frances, first?
I think for Mr. Direct observations, sir, directed from me, given one-on-one, sir. Aside from that, teachers could also suggest ways on how I can further improve my performance and flourish in distance learning.
Great. In other words, Frances, are you saying that other than the grade or the score, magko-comment ang teacher dapat?
Yes, sir.
Good. To the teachers who are watching, okay? Please give a comment. Ako, even in high school, back in high school, I think, I would not look at the grade first. I will really look at the comment in red marks. So, inahanap ko yung comment, okay? Marie-Therese, what about you? What kind of feedback aside from grade?
Ganun po rin kay Ate Frances, but the thing is for me, it is very important to check kung ano po ang mga mali ko po. It is important that from these mistakes, these mistakes will help us to lead to what we are gaining to. Parang ganun po.
Okay, Ralph, what about you, Ralph? What kind of feedback do you need?
Sir, I think students need character feedback, sir, because as students, we're still developing and learning our personalities and characters, sir. So a good character feedback and an honest opinions about our personality is really great, sir, so we can improve it.
But at the same time, you need to also give feedback to your teachers about you, about how you feel, right? Kasi mahirap mag-assess ng character ngayon. It's virtual, correct? We don't see you. Because some students can actually fake their participation. You know that. Minsan nga, nandun yung nanay, recitation, nandun yung nanay sa likuran, nagko-coach. Okay, nagpa-panel discussion ako, nandun naman, nakatingin sa left, alam kong nandun yung binabasa ng sagot ng bata, okay? So yung mga ganon, you can fake it, for example. So, nasa inyo pa rin yan, okay? Okay, for medyo controversial to, but I would like to hear from you, okay? Because our teachers are really trying their best to assess learning. They give quizzes, they give assignments, but you already said that along the way, may way pa rin ang students not to be honest about their answers, correct? May cheating, they're not honest, okay? So my question here is, the best way to ensure honesty or academic integrity in distance learning is blank. From the perspective of the student, what is the best way? Not from you na ha, kasi do not talk about how you practice honesty. No, you're proposing to us. Imagine that your teachers are listening to you today, okay? All teachers all over the world are listening to you, okay? How can teachers or schools ensure that there's honesty or academic integrity? Because no amount of monitoring will really ensure that you're honest. Maski wala pang pandemya, may way pa rin ang estudyante na mag-cheat. Correct? Di how much more ngayon na hindi namin kayo nakikita? Hirap yung tanong ko, no? How do you think can we ensure academic integrity? Who'd like to answer that? Tahimik kayong tatlo. Anybody? Ano yung proposal nyo para talagang ma-ensure na honesty? Marie?
Sir, parang sinabi ko po kanina, but in this paper, if we're talking about distance learning, I would recommend po more answering in the Aralings. Pero po may kasama po siyang Google Meet po na meeting para po makikita po kung magsasagot.
May kasama na?
Google Meet po. Para po makita ng teacher kung talagang may kasama po kayo ng sasagot or mag-isa lang po kayo.
There's always a way to do that. I'm telling you. Okay, meron na pero matatago, hindi naman ipapakita ng bata yung buong bahay niya, gaganon. Okay, I mean, no technology can really stop you from cheating. I'm telling you. So what do you think is the practical way so that students become honest? May naisip ka ba, Frances? That's a good proposal, Therese, but you know, there's always a way. There's always a way to do that. Kanina nga nawala yung PowerPoint ko na keyword, parang guide ko. Pero pinatayo ko dyan sa likodan nito yung pamangkin ko para makita ko dyan sa phone ko. Kaya nakaganon ako kanina. And you did not notice that. You did not notice that. But it looked like I was looking at my camera kasi nawala ako sa outline ko kanina. You know what I'm saying? But that's a good... Google Meet cannot protect honesty, I'm telling you. It cannot ensure honesty, not protect. It cannot ensure honesty. No video conferencing tool can ensure honesty and integrity. So, anong bottom line natin dito? Anong solusyon? Maski naman wala pang pandemya, di ba? Magpa-assignment ang teacher, paano namin malalaman na pinagawa niyo sa parent niyo yun? Correct? So what do you think is the solution here? Frances, isip kayo biglang lalim. Frances, what do you think?
I think one way, sir, was being practiced na by CKC before, which is to conduct validating assessments with open-ended questions, sir.
Good.
And another is, sir, we are on Google Meet and we are solving by batch of 5 students, sir, and the teacher can really see na we are doing it on our own without the help of someone.
Ang hirap, no? Can you imagine that? Gagawin na ng teacher, tig 5, ilang kayo sa klase? Or tig isa, kunyari, yung gusto ni Therese kanina. Ang hirap din. Ang hirap. Ralph, may solusyon ka? How about you, Ralph?
Sir, the same din po kay Ate Frances, sir. I think that's a really good idea, sir, because talaga pong mafi-filter po kung sino yung nag-cheat or yung hindi po nag-cheat. At mabibigyan din po sila ng parang pong warning and red flags po na hindi po dapat ulitin yun, sir. Kasi po nakikita po directly.
You know why I asked that question? I have conducted more than 100 webinars on distance learning the past how many months already. And it's the same question that your teachers ask. Sabi ng teachers nyo, how do we ensure academic integrity? Wala talaga. Merong software, pero napakamahal. Umaabot sa millions. Okay? Okay, now, you know, ang sabi ko lagi sa kanila, you cannot do anything anymore because the students can actually will always find a way to cheat. But the best way, okay, when it comes to to let's say recall type of questions, okay, those with absolute answers. But the best way I think is like what Frances said, open-ended questions, right? Something na sasagutin nila based on their experience. That's just one, but there is always a way pa rin na dayain yun. Tama? Pwedeng nasa tabi niya yung, let's say, adult, tapos inilapit lang yung kodigo dito, tapos tinatype niya. Pwedeng gano'n. Or may binabasa siya, hindi na naman mahahalata yun. Okay? Okay. So my point here is this, okay? Relinquish control. sabi ko sa mga teachers nyo, relinquish control. At tayo magagawa yan. At the end of the day, ang laging tatanda ng estudyante, sino bang nawalan? Sinong nawalan? Hindi nawalan ang teachers. Because the teachers did their best. Sinong nawalan ng learning? Okay, sinong niloko nyo? Nakalusot ka, you got good grades. Sinong niloko nyo? Yun lang ang lagi yung sinasabi. Even to my pamangkins, it's about learning. It's not about the grade. So to those students that are watching right now, I'm going to remind you again, yung grade ay, kumbaga yung level 1 lang yan ng talagang totoong laban sa buhay. Ang totoong laban sa buhay ay yung uri ng taong magiging ikaw balang araw. The kind of person that you will become. Okay? And you have to start young. Habang bata pa kayo, utang na loob, maging honest kayo. Why? Look around you. Look around you. Napakaraming corrupt. Napakaraming dishonest people. And that's the reason we are poor as a nation. And you know what's the sad thing about it? The ones that are, in the middle of corruption issues are people who are products of Catholic schools, some of them, most of them. But I am sure that their teachers taught them well, that their teachers guided them to be honest. Okay, to be honest. But then again, nasa inyo pa rin yan ng mga estudyante. So, tinanong ko lang yan sa inyo, baka may iba kayong solusyon. Pero ang solusyon talaga dyan ay kayo mismo. Marie, correct? It's really the person. It's really the person. Nasa iyo na yan. Walang nawala sa aming teachers. Walang nawala. Naloko nyo kami, naisahan nyo kami. So, grade lang yan. Anong nawala mo? Integridad. Napakalaki mo. Okay? Oh, sige. Anyway, I'm almost done with the discussion here. Okay, the best way to engage students is blank. Although you mentioned that earlier, pero baka may gusto kayo idagdag. The best way to engage students is blank. Anybody would like to complete that sentence? Ralph? The best way to engage students who are not so engaged is to have a teacher with the, energetic voice. That's why I'm trying my best to be energetic here. Go ahead, Ralph.
Sir, yun po, the best way to engage students to cooperate during discussions is, sir, activities and interactions, I think, sir, which includes games, ganun po, sir, because I think po na kapag puro discussions and talks lang po yung ginagawa ng teacher, some students po ay nagtataingang kawali or hindi po nila masyadong pinapakinggan yung lessons. While, sir, kapag may talaga pong interaction, sir, makikita po talaga ng teacher kung sino po yung gumagawa, sir.
Good. Frances, what's the best way to engage those that are disengaged?
Sir, for me, I think first is we have to connect the lessons to the real world in such a way that we integrate social issues or problems, because aside from having the need for students to be exposed to the real world, students tend to engage more on things that concern them or directly involve certain aspects of their lives. Another, sir, is to give words of affirmation so that students will be more happy to attend synchronous classes. And third is to motivate them, sir, to further improve themselves and to follow their dreams.
Great. Beautifully said, Frances, okay? Complete this one, okay? Let's now talk to your teachers, Again, I know that your teachers are doing their best, and I think you also know that, right? You also know that, right? Your teachers are doing their best, okay? Very committed, very passionate about their craft, okay? But just the same, complete this sentence. For a better learning experience, I think that teachers need to continue blank. Personal opinion niya yan. For a better learning experience or for a better distance learning experience next year, the teachers need to continue blank. Marie?
Sir, teachers should continue to become very supportive and compassionate to their students, because reassuring their students' mental health is one way in order for the students to engage in those lessons.
Good. Okay, Frances.
Sir, to continue being innovative and maximize the use of Aralinks technology.
I like that because I am the person behind Aralinks. Okay, you want to maximize Aralinks. Thank you so much. Ralph, go ahead.
Sir, the teacher should continue being compassionate, sir, just like what Therese said, so that, sir, the students won't feel pressured at all, sir, and they feel the
Okay.
support that the teachers are giving
Good.
them.
What should teachers start doing next school year na hindi pa nila ginagawa ngayon? Teachers should start blank. Ralph.
Sir, pwede hindi teachers.
Oh, sige, pwede hindi. Go ahead.
Sir, one thing that I miss, sir, during the face-to-face classes, sir, is the activity circle, sir. And
Oh,
ngayong distance
clubs.
learning po, nawala po yun. So, sir, I think next year po sana medyo ma-integrate na po yung activity circle so that students will still enhance their skills on their chosen path, sir.
Good. But I am sure CKC, nasa pipeline na nila yan. Okay, nasa pipeline. Nag-prioritize lang sila this year, okay? But just so you know, I have also conducted a lot of webinars also on how to do, online clubs. Ginawa ko na yan sa andaming schools, okay? I will be more than willing to also, support your teachers along that endeavor. Okay, Frances, what do you think? What should they start doing?
Sir, okay lang din parang kay Ralph na not the teachers. Sir, I think we should start to go back joining in extracurricular activities step by step, sir. Hindi biglaan. Kasi for me, it serves as a breather to the students and
Yes.
it allows them to reignite their passion. And if the students are passionate with what they are doing, they will tend to look forward to something interesting and engage better in distance learning.
100% I agree with you. 100%. Not just as a breather, but that's one way to also make sure that you're really holistic. Okay? Holistic in your formation. Very good. But again, nag-prioritize. Kasi pandemya to eh. Kumbaga ang mga eskwelahan, sinabi ko sa kanila, high priority, low priority. Find out kung nandun. Okay? But of course, inuna nila yung learning lang muna. Therese, what do you recommend? They should
They're
start.
consultating their students individually. Kasi po kapag by group po, madami pong nahihiya po mag-express ng kanilang emotions sa feelings. Which is why I recommend doing individual kamustahan like what Ate Frances and what Kuya Ralph said.
Yeah.
Which is very important in order to obtain self-awareness in that student's mentality. Importante rin po kasi sa mga estudyante na sila po ay nabibigyang halaga ng mga teachers.
Good. Okay. It's just, alam nyo, plinano yan ng teachers nyo. Plinano nila yung individual. Hirap lang talaga sila. Hindi nila kaya. 1 class 30. Doon pa lang pagod ka na. Ako nga, ilang kayong kausap ko ngayon? 3. Medyo individualized pa to. 2 hours na to. Maniwala kayo, pinepeke ko lang pero pagod na ako. Pagod na ako dito. Just imagine that, right? Just imagine to a teacher, 31 class lang. Ilang kayo? Ilang sections in 1 grade level? So, but I am sure they're already planning something along that. Kasi pare-pareho kayo ng recommendation. Ngayon, ibalik ko naman sa inyo. And you are now the voice of students, okay? So as a student, what will you continue doing? Kasi distance learning pa rin to. As students, what will you continue doing, Marie?
Sir, I will continue being very compassionate to other people kasi po kahit anong oras po sila po ay may kailangan. Hindi po talaga natin ma-determine kung ano pong naramdaman nila. It's important to always monitor our classmates, especially those who are having a very hard time. Kaya kahit po matatapos na po ang school year, it is really important na ma-consult po natin sila about their personal feelings.
Good. Okay, so really talaga the dominant theme here, the dominant message is compassion. Ralph?
Sir, I think that as students should continue being motivated, sir, despite the challenges brought to us by this pandemic, because through motivation, sir, we're able to surpass each day and overcome every challenges. So I think as students should continue being motivated, sir.
Okay, Frances, what about you?
Sir, for me, students should continue engaging and continue to strengthen the having open communication with the teachers because it is with listening and speaking that we get to understand one another, and it is with listening that we get to know things more.
Okay, Frances, a few weeks from now, you will be leaving CKC. Correct? What is the biggest lesson that CKC taught you?
Sir, it is to always put God above first and to not just think about yourself, but to be a person more of the community, to be a person more for others because grades will not define you as a person. It is how you act with other people, how you interact with them, and how you use your learnings to bring something good to the community.
In other words, did you appreciate your parents bringing you to CKC and not to the other schools?
Yes, sir.
Because?
Because CKC really helped me to develop myself holistically, not just in terms of academics, but more of my heart and soul. And the Catholic upbringing it offered really helped me to be the person I am today.
There are non-CKC parents and students that will be watching this, session because it is on my YouTube channel. Like, what is your message? Will you encourage them to enroll their kids to CKC, Frances?
Yes, sir, definitely. Because CKC has a three-pronged curriculum that caters to the holistic development of the students, and rest assured that teachers are competent enough to develop your child academically, emotionally, mentally, and you will not regret bringing your children to CKC.
Same with you, Marie. Okay, you're talk to the non-CKC students right now. Why should they enroll in CKC, Marie?
Sir, for me, si Casey has really taught a lot of things in life. Nakakapag-relate po sa totoong buhay ang mga lessons. One thing that I learned from a teacher here in CKC, the wisdom between a pencil and a ball pen. From this lesson, kapag gumagamit po tayo ng pencil during our lower grades because we can still fix our erasures. Nakakaya po natin magpalit po ng ating mga ugali as we grow up. Hindi na po natin we do not have that time in order to fix ourselves. So as early as we are, we have to fix all of the errors in ourselves. That is a very good lesson I learned from my CLE teacher this grade 7.
Good. And I think the fact that you kept talking about compassion, that is something I think that CKC instilled in you, correct? Other than your parents, correct? Ralph, why CKC? Why CKC distance learning program? What's good about it?
Sir, I think that CKC has remained steadfast through the years. Despite any challenges, the CKC has remained very proud and confident in uplifting their students and para po mailabas yung tunay po nilang love and sir, yung values po na kailangan nilang matutunan in life. So I think, sir, definitely students should enroll in CKC because, sir, of the not only the knowledge, but, sir, the values that we've learned, sir.
Okay, very good, guys. Very good, guys. Okay, and do you know that I am the person that I am today? Okay, I am the teacher that I am today. I am the so-called speaker that I am today. I am the so-called consultant that I am today because of the faith-filled foundation that the ICM sisters instilled in me. I started to teach when I was 19, okay? But my exposure to an ICM school, sister school ng CKC, here in Baguio, St. Louis School Center, okay, made me the person that I am now. How much more sa inyo? How much maybe the teacher that I am now? Okay, how much more sa inyo na mula grade school kayo nasa CKC kayo? So again, maraming salamat sa inyong tatlo for joining me this afternoon. Okay, we'd like to end this discussion by giving your message to your teachers, to your parents, learning coaches, and maybe friends and classmates, virtual classmates, okay? Would you like to do, let's begin first with Therese. What is your message to the school, to the teachers, to your parents, and even to your classmates? Go ahead, Therese.
To my school, I really thank my school for being loyal and for teaching me a lot of core values that has strengthened my mental and emotional stability. For the teachers who have helped me increase my self-confidence and self-esteem, I really thank them because kung hindi po sa kanila, hindi po rin mawawala po ako sa sarili as in ngayon. And for my parents, I really thank them for supporting me, for being there with me until this time.
Thank you, Marie-Therese. Thank you. Ralph.
I want to thank all the teachers and personnel of Christ the King College, headed by Sister Connie Gakutan, for their hard work, determination, and patience that they have shared with us. I want to thank them for supporting, trusting, and believing in us since day one, and for continuing to mold and nurture us to be an Ilocano, a Filipino, and a Christian filled with dreams, values, wisdom, and faith. To my parents and family, thank you for your unending support and love, for building me up and for cementing in me the drive to achieve my goals. For my classmates and friends, thank you for the memories we had and for the roller coaster emotions we've spent with each other virtually. Sending you all warm and lovely virtual hugs. Again, Agyamanak, maraming salamat po.
Okay, parang nag-prepare ka, hindi nyo naman alam na tatanungin ko yung tanong na yan. Okay? And of course, okay, Frances. Okay, this, in a few weeks, sabi ko nga, this is your farewell message na, and at the same time, maybe your thank you message to your, how many years of education in CKC, Frances? 12? 12 years of education. Sige, maski hindi ikaw yung valedictorian or kung ikaw man yung magiging valedictorian, mag-valedictory address ka na. Go ahead, Frances, go ahead.
First, I want to thank the CKC community for molding me into the person I am today. Without the teachers, the ICM sisters, the non-teaching, and the maintenance personnel, I will not be a compassionate, kind student that I am now. Aside from that, I want to extend my gratitude to the teachers. We may not be able to say this often to you, but we appreciate all your hard work, your efforts, and you going the extra mile just to keep in touch with us, to communicate with us. That means a lot to us. And to my fellow students, know that this pandemic will not stop us from reaching our dreams. Being Cicasians, let us continue to be the voice for the others. Let us be the voice for the oppressed. And let us start to apply our learnings to be more of a person to the community and to bring difference, because in times like this, students who have a voice are very much needed.
Thank you, Frances. Pang valedictory address na yun, ha. Thank you, Frances. And again, naiyak yata si Frances, okay? Thank you, Frances, for joining us. Okay? And of course, okay, last year mo na yan at salamat. Okay, salamat for speaking on behalf of all the graduating students. And Ralph, thank you for joining us also in this discussion. Marie, thank you also for your contribution to this conversation, okay? And to the CKC administration led by my beloved and my loved Sister Connie Gakutan, salamat po lagi sa pagkakataon na ibinibigay niyo sa akin na maging bahagi po ng formation ng inyong teachers, ng inyong estudyante, and professional development of your teachers. Salamat po at lagi akong kasama po ninyo sa inyong mga plan, okay? Most of your plans and most of your programs. Again, salamat po sa inyong lahat. Okay, we turn you over to our host for this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Velarde, and to our 3 student panelists, thank you. That was indeed a very educational sharing. I am sure our viewers, especially the students out there, have learned a lot of tips from our speaker and student panelists on how to cope with the challenges brought about by the home-based learning, as well as see the opportunities of the positive side of distance learning in the new normal. With that, allow me to say our words of gratitude to our speaker, guest panelists, and all the viewers. On behalf of Christ the King College, City of San Fernando, La Union, I would like to express my sincerest appreciation to our viewers. Thank you, our dear students, parents, guardians, and personnel for the active support and participation you have shown us in order to make this event a success. Special thanks also to our active student panelists. Thank you for accepting the challenge to be the fountain of inspiration to the youth, especially to our Cicasians. And of course, to our ever dynamic guest speaker, Sir Ruben Velarde and Phoenix Publishing House Incorporated. Thank you so much for being with us in our journey as an institution. Your presence with us, especially during this trying time, is highly appreciated. Your passion and advocacy on learning innovations affect us teachers. We get inspiration from you and the strength to carry on the responsibilities entrusted to us as educators. Once again, thank you so much. I would like also to extend our gratitude to our ICM sisters, headed by Sister Connie Gakutan, for making this event possible. Without you, this won't be a success. We offer the success of this event to our loving Father. And to conclude this program, let us now have the closing prayer.
We now put ourselves in God's loving presence. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father, as we end this program, we want to give honor to you. Thank you, Lord, for all the marvelous things you have done today. Thank you for your love that you have revealed to us and for the love that we share together as your body. May you bless each person who took the time to gather here today, and let your hand of protection be on them for the rest of the week. Let the work done here come to fruition, and let it all be for your glory. Bless each of us and keep us safe until we are able to gather together again. We pray for all the words that you have sown into our hearts this day. Watch over them, protect them. May they take root and produce wonderful things, things of beauty and great blessings to many. And as we leave this place, this sacred virtual place now, thank you that you walk with us. May we be alert to your promptings and live in your endless love. For yours is the kingdom, the power and glory in this age and forevermore. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.